All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports for today's Watchalong Ireland versus France. The last game of the weekend should be an absolute cracker. We saw a brilliant contest yesterday between Wales and Scotland. And if this game could be anything like that, then we are in for a treat over the next about 2 hours or so. But yeah, so we'll get into the teams in a minute. They just had the national anthems, the Irish national anthems currently going on. They just had the national So quickly anthems, before we get into the team stuff like that, please do get your score predictions down in the comments. Let me know who you are backing. What is your prediction for the game? Are we going to see a close game? Our French side, brimming with confidence, going to really target an Irish side, which are missing quite a few players. No Johnny Sexton, no Conor Murray. Which is a bit of a sad one, because I think Conor Murray versus Antoine Dupont was going to be a brilliant battle. We won't see that, but hopefully the Irish can really sort of pull together and put in a good performance, because I think that France will be targeting them big time here. And if France get off to another big win, then they'll definitely be the favourites for the tournament itself. Right, so our score predictions, I think I'm going to go with what I said in the preview, which was that I'm going to go France by 10. That's my prediction. Let me know what yours are. Smash them in the comments there. Put them in ink so we can visit them towards the end of the game and see what everybody backed for the game. Also, let me know who you're supporting. Where were you watching from? What's the situation? How's the weekend been? Let me know. I'm just busy sharing the link around here. Try and get a couple more people into the chat there so we can really get this going. And then we'll look at the teams and really get going and get stuck into what should hopefully be a really good game. So sad that we're listening to shoulder, no fans. Like my favorite part about watching any sort of Irish game. But hey, these are COVID times, and hopefully in a year's time that'll all have changed, and we'll be back to having fans in the stadiums. Definitely part of my bucket list to really go over there and watch it live and hear it live and be part of that atmosphere. The anthems are done. Kickoff will be underway shortly. Right, so let's have a look at the sides for today. Quite a few different couple of changes for Ireland, which are all injury enforced, really. But Hugo Keenan starts at fullback. We've got Keith Earls and James Lowe as the two wings. Pretty solid last weekend. Gary Ringrose and Robbie Henshaw, two very exciting centres. Billy Burns with a lot to atone for last weekend, after last weekend's into the in-goal area. Not his finest moment in an Irish shirt. And then Jamison Gibson Park gets the nod at number 9. And then 1 through to 8, we've got Ian Healy, Rob Herring, Andrew Porter, Tadek Byrne, Ian Henderson, who captains the side for the first time. Rhys Ruddock, Josh van der Fleyer, and CJ Stander are the loose trio. And then on the bench, we've got Ronan Kelleher, Ed Byrne, Tadek Fillon, Alton Delane, Will Connors, Craig Casey, Ross Byrne, and Jordan Lomau. So, yeah, I said, but not the best Irish side and missing quite a few players. No Johnny Sexton's a big. I think Billy Burns is going to be a big factor in this game, and I'm a big fan of him. I think he's a very good player, and I think you can't judge him after making that mistake last weekend, because he's a good player and judge someone like that. But he'll know more than most that he really needs to bounce back and atone for what he did, because I think they could have won the game last weekend. It was a very spirited performance despite going down to 14 men. So I think the first thing that Ireland will want to make sure they do is keep themselves at 15 men. But then we look at the French side here. Bryce Julian, Damien Pinot, Arthur Vincent, Gael Ficau, Gavin Villery, Mathieu Jalabert, Anton Dupont. What an incredible player he is. An incredible game he had last week. Played a part in, I think it was like 4 out of the 7 tries they scored. Incredible, incredible player. Then Cyril Baye, Julian Marchand, Mohamed Hawas, and then the 2 South African-born locks, Bernard Leroux, and let's get the timer started, and Paul Willemse, Atlee Delange, Charles Olivan, and Gregory Aldrit are the loose trio. So Ireland kicking off, player playing left to right. A good take early there from France. Oh, and Yellowbird's been charged down, but it's been picked up. So it's a very good start here. Sorry, I'll just get looking down the bench there. You can read there. I'll just having keep an eye on the game because this has been a fantastic start. And France have turned Ireland. Burns is back, and he looks to try and find touch. So very, very good exit play. Well, early on from France. He caught the ball well. And then Pick was charged down with some very good cleaning up on the side there. And eventually managed to get the Souths all the way down to the Irish half, force a line there, and they'll have a line out within the Ireland half. So the perfect start for France. Oh, we're really going towards the boot here. France and pinned back to 22. So a lot of early pressure on you from Ireland. They're really trying to put a lot of pressure early on France and try and get up nice and quickly. Put them on the back foot early, which is a good idea. No, it's a side that likes to have the authority on the game. So France kicked deep. Ireland have got possession around the halfway line. Good fight by Miller in the cricket. Yeah, it was brilliant. I was watching that now, actually, early on. And for any cricket fans, it was not a terrible start for the Proteas, and then a fantastic knock there. But in terms of the rugby, you've got quite a nice high-tempo start here. What a way to end your weekend. We had a really good game yesterday between Scotland and Wales. Now we're going to end our weekend with Ireland versus France, which, especially if it was 2 fully fit sides, would have been one of the best clashes of the competition itself. We have our first set piece, first scrum of the day. We already had a line out. We have our first scrum of the day. Good conditions at the moment in Ireland. Very cold in the United Kingdom and in and around Europe at the moment. Pack weights, France 924 kgs, Ireland 895. So about 29 kg difference there. But an early chance here for Ireland. They are inside the French half. Solid scrum, not much giving between them. Right, now they go to the boot. This is a big test here for very good take there by Genvallier. Takes it quickly though. Tell you what, France trying to really up the tempo in the early stages here. So kicking battle at the moment. They have a ping pong here. I think the kicking battle when it comes to Test rugby is always one of the most important ones, and early to try and make sure that it's not just kicking into space and but actually do try and sort of tactically try and work yourself into a good position. Try and win yourself a line out. A decent play. Jalabert goes down towards the left hand side. Now Ireland looking to find touch, and they do find touch very well into the French half. Very, very good kick there by James Lowe. France will have a defensive line in their half. So a nice start here, a couple of kicking here. I think a kicking battle will be an interesting one. It does help, but you've got somebody like James Lowe who's got a very big boot. You're not just looking at your sort of fullback far half there. And yesterday we saw a brilliant kick by Rez Ahmed. Really pinned Scotland back. And to have a wing with a decent boot on it just adds a little bit to your game. Bit of a messy line out, and Ireland have actually won possession there. So France doing all the early defending. Ben's holding up fairly well at the moment. I'm not finding too much at the moment. Right, Billy Burns goes to the boot. He hoists it up. It's a good chase there. You've got low underneath it. And spilled, and it's been picked up. I think it's Ringrose. Ireland is winning all the small battles here. They won possession right by the 22 meters. Henderson, the captain for Ireland today, he takes it up. Billy Burns has changed direction. Ran himself straight back into traffic. Good defense here by France, who are steadily knocking Ireland back. CJ Stunner, though, as usual, gets over the advantage line, as he will. I mean, anybody that size is always going to get you over the advantage line. A bit of space for Ireland. The pass wasn't great, and that's a knock-on there from Rob Herring. Not much he could have done. Passed right by his feet there, so not the best fight. Pity, because Ireland actually had a bit of space on the left. There's not much separating the two sides coming at scrum time at the moment. First scrum was very, very solid. Big packs, though. Two very big packs, both just, I mean, Ireland just shy of 900 kgs. France well over that 900 kg mark. So the scrum battle should be an interesting one. Another very, very solid scrum. A little bit of a second shove from France. They go down, but the ball is available for Dupont. A fantastic kick there by France. Completely turned Ireland low down the back. A brilliant effort there from Brazilian, who's turned Ireland and found touch right within the Ireland territory. He's looking in, he's found touch. About 35 meters on into the Ireland territory. So it's a very nice result by France. Solid scrum, not much separating them, and they're inside. And all of a sudden, Ireland are going to have a line out inside the 22. So France haven't had much of the ball, but making that opportunity count, and they've pinned back Ireland here. There comes the first maul of the day. It's splintered off a bit, but there's a bit of momentum for Ireland right by the touchline, and they're going back for a penalty. So that's a big victory for Ireland there. Who get out of jail free. They'll kick themselves back up the field and try and attack France once again. Very messy maul there. It was, they said, number 3 there. Mohamed Houas was just no rush to try and play off for the side there. But Ireland have found themselves up by the 10-meter line. They win the line out. We're going to try another more here. It's a penalty to France, actually. I think it's holding on. So, yeah, I think the suck was good there. And then Ireland, in trying to set up a maul, couldn't get to cycle the ball and he's been penalised for holding on. So, a good result for France, who can now return the favour. See what the decision here is from France. And we're going to go for polls. So, Matthew Jalaber's first attempt on goal. Distance-wise, it's about the 10-meter line, so probably about on a bit of an angle. Not the easiest opportunity, not the hardest though. Fairly well inside. Camera work is abysmal. Hopefully the kick's a little better. It's not. It goes down to I think from the left. Yeah, look, I think cameraman might be losing a job there because that was horrific. Difficult chance, but I think probably one you'd expect an international fly half to get. So disappointing for France. I just hooked it slightly and faded away on the left there. So I didn't get away with that. Still no points after the first 10 minutes, despite what's been quite a good start. We hadn't had any stoppages, quite a lot of game time. France now on the front foot following the 22-meter. They get themselves into Irish territory. Oh, and that ball spilled out and it has gone forward. So, good for Australia for France not being able to look after that position well enough. We're going to have another scrum. I think what we saw in the last scrum was a bit of a counter shove towards sort of the middle, but both teams almost trying to find a bit of a gap there, half a gap, try and put themselves on. But so far, nothing much separating the two sides. So, yeah, I mean, most of the game at the moment being played in sort of the quarter in the, just inside the French half so far. 65% of territory has been there. So nothing in the 22s as of yet. A lot of the rugby being played in the middle of the park. Well, I imagine they're going to try and recycle this in there. Oh, and they've won a penalty. So, first scrum penalty there. I think it's against Cyril Bayer. Not sure. Penalties for collapsing the scrum. I mean, look, when it comes to penalties, let's be honest, we're all just guessing these days. I have to see a replay to try and see exactly what it was. For collapsing the scrum, Billy Burns finds touch about 10 meters outside before the 22. Slightly scrumming in. Probably the right decision. I said scrums are always such a 50-50. You can't. It's always a difficult one to try and predict. There from Ireland. They go to the back line. Didn't look very polished move that though. So they'll try. Ian Henderson's going to try and find some. Front of Flair was running at a bit of pace there, but the pass was behind him. Billy Burns spins himself out of trouble. We're seeing quite a rush defense here from France. I'm not going to allow Ireland to just run at them. They're going to go and meet them halfway. Okay. Very lateral from France at the moment. Not much go forward of the ball. There is an overlap, though. There's an overlap. And here we go. James Lowe's on the outside. It's a good tackle there from Julian. And Ireland are inside the 22 meters. James Lowe, once again, the man who got through, he makes meters as well. A very hard-working winger he is. Always very close to the action. See, they're stunned this time, but he's met well. And they're actually ripped in the tackle. France have ripped that. They're looking to keep the ball in hand. What are you doing? Electing not to kick there. France trying to keep this alive inside the 22. Bit of a strange decision. And there we go. Now we go to Delabert, and he will kick that up. He does find touch. And about the 10-meter line. So frustrating there from Ireland, who finally found sort of a bit of go-forward ball. Finally managed to sort of break a few tackles and get some momentum. Then the ball was ripped in the tackle. CJ Stunnard was, and he was very, very well met. But I think it's Gregory Aldred and Gail Fakal. So, yeah, very good tackle there. Because it's not easy to try and get a dominant tackle on CJ Stunnard. What a player he is. There's a penalty there from France, and they kicked right behind the Irish back line, who were reeling, and suddenly now France, the return kick, we've got a kick and chase here. Almost sort of stopped it, Bryce Julian. If he just kept going, I reckon he could have actually challenged for the ball. Ireland suddenly pegged back all inside their own half. Dupont now cleaning up. He takes a low effort. But the bounce favors Hugo Keenan. Looks like he's going to run it. He does. Gets himself up to the halfway line. Billy Burns puts that very, very high. That's a very good ball to chase. Very good take there from Julian. He was under pressure from Ringrose, but he manages to keep it. That's a penalty from Ireland. That looks like it's holding on. Very good work at the breakdown. I think it's Reece Ruddock who's won that there. And yeah, look, France, I think when they've had the ball, actually just haven't looked very creative, to be honest. Couple of times where I think maybe they could have kicked a bit earlier, decided to keep the ball in hand, which is admirable, but now they've just given away a penalty. They're very kickable position, and Billy Burns is going to line up his first effort of the day. And I think, yeah, I'd argue that on the attack, Ireland have looked a lot better. I mean, it's a great take there from Bryce Julian. Also, and Rice Riddick is all over there, ensuring that player can't roll away. But calling the end there, very intelligent play there from the flanker. Right, Billy Burns had a lot of pressure after his mistake last week. This will be a nice way to start his day. Doesn't kick for his club. But given the responsibility for today, so let's see if he can rise to it. Oh, that is a shocking effort. Oh my goodness. I mean, both early opportunities for kick for goal have been terrible. Billy Burns, I didn't think he could get much worse than the kick for or touch last weekend, but that might have topped it, to be honest. Not a good effort at all by the fly half. And score still level after 17, almost 18 minutes. Wrap around Jeff for Ireland are trying to find their way into the French half. They do find themselves. The France doing all the defending. We'll try to look at a bit of stats, maybe around the 20 mark when we actually get a bit of a break and play. Gibson Park goes up and high. Big chase. Looks like Keenan Hugo just overran that slightly. Right, Keith Earls hasn't had much to do, so he steps inside. He gets inside of the France 22. This is good by Ireland. They need to make this count. Had lots of opportunities like this against Wales last weekend, but just couldn't find a way to just find that incisive pass, that decisive run. Very good run there by Hugo Keenan, but it's a very good tackle, equally. Parker himself, he's isolated. We've got two French for. Oh, it's a penalty to Ireland. That's an interesting call, actually. Oliver and Aldred were all over that ball, but judged not to have released. So we'll have to see a replay. But now suddenly this is another very kickable position for Ireland. But given the momentum, it wouldn't surprise me that they do go for touch. Burley Burn is going to have another shot at goal. A terrible kick first up, so it can only really get better, to be honest. It does get much worse, then, well, need to find a goal kicker somewhere. Please do smash a like if you are watching and subscribe to the channel. Hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the Six Nations. So, what, got just over a month to do it. Weeks. you're not subscribed, please do subscribe and help us try and get up to that 1,000 mark. Billy Burns here, probably an easier kick with the right foot, means curl it in. And there's no issues with the second attempt there. And Ireland take first blood after the 20-minute mark in this clash. Deserved it, really. Been the better side so far. France not doing much attacking, been doing the bulk of the defending. I'm sure the stats, when we have a look at them at halftime, will probably back that up. Retake here from Ireland. James Lowe asked to go and find touch, and he doesn't. Keep that ball alive. A little bit of see some space. He kicked him behind. The bounce of the ball, favouring Keith Earls in the end. And James Lowe will have another opportunity to find touch. That's not a great touch finder from Lowe, and that's very good from France. Spotted a bit of space behind the yellow bear. Bounce almost looked like I was going to really favour him, but did pin them back. And in the response, James Lowe has found touch just outside of 22 meters. So a perfect opportunity for France to try and hit back immediately. Go towards the back, and they spilt it forward. Not been looking good at the lineouts. Huh? I was about to say, the call eventually comes. They're playing on. Definitely a knock on there at the beginning. But so, yeah, I mean, another chance got missing from France. We've been a little bit sloppy at set piece time. Going into the back, under a bit of pressure. I don't know what the miscommunication was. I mean, they were all setting up for the maul. And then the throw came down. So, yeah, I mean, that's just terrible communication. That looked very much amateur hour by the French. Not a finest moment. The last scrum we had, I believe, was an Irish penalty. So this will be another opportunity to try and win another penalty and get themselves back into French territory. A hit there from Ireland. So a very, very solid scrum. Not much giving you. It's available for Gibson Park. Intro runs it up. Doesn't make too many meters. Now Gibson Park shapes to kick. Does. It's gone high. Very contestable. Keith Earls has been tripped. He's been landed on. That's just he's having a terrible time over there. Has won the penalty, though. Penalty at the ruck. A little bit of afters. But another Ireland penalty. So, yeah, France discipline just letting them down a little bit at the moment. Okay, so the call is a trip. It came from the touchline judge there. Talking about a yellow card all of a sudden. Okay, so the TMO has been brought into here. We've got what's been labelled as a clear trip. And referee's saying if it is a trip, then will be a yellow card. So was Keith Earls the man that was after it? I don't think it. Side of it is a clear trip. Looks a little bit harsh. Right, so a yellow card to France. That's not what they needed at all. Bernard Leroux is off for deliberately tripping Keith Earl, who was chasing down that kick. So that's a big moment in the game. Let's try and chuck that yellow card up. So yeah, Bernard Leroux judged to have changed his line there and tripped Keith Earls in the chase. So he'll spend 10 minutes in the bin. And this is a big opportunity for Ireland to try and make this count. I can see his left leg, just sort of a bit of a lazy leg, goes out towards him. So Ireland, who played most of the game last weekend with 14 men, will now play against a 14-man France side for the next 10 minutes. They found touch right by the 22 and immediately going to try and assert the dominance with a very good maul. And this is rolling well at the moment. It's very well set up. Now they go to the back line. Billy Burns wraps around there. Oh, there's space out wide. There's space out wide. Can James Lowe finish? Oh! Has he scored that? That was a massive hit there on Bruce Jr. I don't know if he scored that. He's celebrating. They think he's over. I thought he was a little bit closer to the touchline than it looks like it. If he scored this, it's been a fantastic finish. Okay, well, the call is an on-field try. Going up and having a look. But I think James Lowe is in here. And that's very nice by Ireland. Winning the line out. Getting about 10 meters from the maul. Then going to the back line. Nice wraparound. James Lowe had a lot of space. Ran straight into Watchalong. It was a good tackle. I think. No, he's out. I think he's out. It looked like he was very close to touch. That's a brilliant tackle by Bruce. It was a massive hit on him. I think James Lowe's foot's going to touch there. I don't think this is going to stand. Gail Fiku coming around, literally just trying to throw his foot. He tries to push the foot of James Lowe over touch. Oh, that's very close. Now a different angle show. No, but hang on, keep playing because watch his other foot. Watch his left foot. I mean, his right foot. Wait, you see there. Yeah, his right foot goes into touch. No, that won't stand. No, it won't stand. It was almost a very good try there from Ireland. They'll take heart from that. It was a very good effort, but a very good tackle by James and by Bryce Dulin because James Lowe was running at a lot of pace. They will have a France line out there on the 5 meter. Yeah, it was a decent effort there. James Lowe still had a lot to do. And Bryce Dulin was asked to make a very important tackle, and he did. They've gone, oh my word, what would you do? What are you doing? That is a massive let up. For some reason, France going to the back completely butchered the line out. And Ireland I think it was Ian Henderson who almost just grabbed the ball and dived over. A terrible line out there from France. I'm not sure what you're thinking. When your line hasn't been working all game, you go to the back. And Ian Henderson has almost held on to that. That's just ludicrous. Why would you do that? Your line has been dodgy the entire game, and you decide this is a good time to try and go to the back. Ian Henderson reads it like a book, and he's almost through. We'll have a scrum here to France. Ian Henderson knocking the ball on. That was just ludicrous. Fancy you tell hello there. I've been to Ireland before. I haven't. I'd love to go to Ireland. I had a mate who went there about 2 years ago. My big dream, is to one day go and maybe watch a Springboks outgoing tour and just do the whole Aviva Stadium, Millennium Stadium, Murrayfield, Twickenham, try and crush 3 or 4 off the list there. Maybe do a separate tour and go to Six Nations. Yeah, I'd love to go over to Europe and watch some rugby. I haven't done it yet. Watch a bit of football. Haven't done the rugby yet. But the big tour that we want to be doing is the British and Irish Lions in July, August, I suppose. Interesting what's going to happen there. Apparently a call only coming in March. Feeling is that they want to tour South Africa, but it is unlikely that there will be fans in stadiums. So I would like to see them try and postpone it for a year. I've got lots of very good tickets. I'd really like to cover the series and try and meet some more traveling fans and have a good time. So, but obviously it's a lot more complicated than just postponing a tour. But yeah, it's a good scrum there. France have won there. Aldred comes straight into it. He carries the ball up well. Now they're going to shape up for depleted box kick. A quiet game so far has the French come off. Oh, it's a very good kick. He's turned Hugo Keenan and eventually managed to hold on. Now he goes to kicks it himself. That's not a good kick, though. It is a very good chase, though. He's won back possession, and Ireland are back in the French half. Now Gibson Park goes over the top, spots a bit of space. That is brilliant by the scrum half. Absolutely brilliant. A perfect chase there from Hugo Keenan. And, yeah, with France sort of all over there, Gibson Park spots the space. Little chip over the top. The bounce of the rugby ball favours him. And Ireland have pinned France back inside the 22 for another line-out, something that France really don't want to have at the moment. This time, France do win the line-out. Aldred carries it up. He's going to be asked to carry the ball up a lot. Dupont now with a bit of a better angle, looks to try and find touch. James Lowe fumbles it backwards, but he's got the ball. Now he's going to try and put it up in the air. Knocked back towards France, and I think Jalibert try to turn them. Ball will sit up inside the 22, though. Gibson Park's the one back. Looks to clear, and he does find touch. So it'll be a France line-out on the 10-meter line inside Ireland territory. Much better than line-out there from France. They've lost about 3 line-outs so far. It hasn't been a very good area of the game for them. And just keeping it safe, going after the 2 ball, does the job. There we go. That's the France we know. Throwing the ball around. Dupont. That is outrageous. How does he do it? Not a great pass, but it's a good pickup there. Oh my living. This is France. That is an absolutely sensational try. Add that to the highlight reel. Put it on repeat. That is France at its best. The ability to just throw the ball around. Charles Oliver, the one who eventually goes over, but that is just sensational. Win the line-out, go off to the back line, they get involved. Very good offload there from Jalibert. Dupont with an outrageous left-arm pass. It's just brilliant. And then they go wide. There's not a lot of space. The pass from Jalibert isn't great, but it's a fantastic pickup by Gael Fiku, and he offloads Charles Ollison. There is a one-man overlap. So, it's just brilliant offloading, and that's what France is known for. It was a fantastic pickup by Gael Fiku. It wasn't a great pass, but didn't panic, waited for the bounce of the ball, drew in 2 defenders, ball over the top, and now Mathieu Jalibert will have a chance to extend the lead. So let's add the try to the scoreboard. And that's the France we want to see more of. Just really exciting rugby. It's just playing with that freedom, of just being able to just throw the ball, throw that 50-50 pass. It wasn't the best kick from Jalibert first up, but he'll have a chance to try and amend for his mistakes here. Much easier kick. It's a much better kick. And France, with the man down, go up to 7-3 with 10 minutes to go. So the perfect response from the French. And I think you probably got to look at Gibson Park there, who committed to the challenge there. And probably if he had stayed outside, might have had a chance of catching Charles Oliver. But yeah, it's just very good rugby by France. Exciting rugby, where they've got license. They've got a license to try and get those offloads in the tackle here. A nice take there by Aldred, who gets himself up to the edge of 22, opens up a nice angle. France do not find touch here, and our CJ Stunner is going to work his way up to steam. Very good offload there. A bit of space here for Hugo Keenan. He kicks ahead. Julian did very well to clean up there. He found Jalibert, who's kicked out. That's brilliant. Absolute brilliance. Crown France. It was a fantastic little counter-attack there from Ireland. CJ Stander, the nice offload inside of Hugo Keenan with some quick feet, chipped over the top. It was Bryce Dillon who cleaned up before finding a really good midfield ball. Hugh Jalabert, who's just turned and put in a monster of an effort. And suddenly Ireland are back inside the half. So, France under the cosh, down to 14 men, and suddenly playing the best they've played all game. Possession 61% Ireland, so it shows the dominance, but that is starting to shift a little bit. And Ireland have now dropped the ball in the line out. I think it was dropped straight down, so no scrum, but the first mistake at line out time that we've seen from Ireland, well, the second mistake, I suppose. Gibson Park deciding to try and slow this down a little bit. He puts that very, very high. The chase is coming from Keith Earl. Don't trip him, otherwise you'll be in the sin bin. And he's won it. DJ Stunder's there to clean up, but he's got two players all over him. That ball's not going to come out. Lie, it's there. We've got an advantage here for Ireland, so Porter tried getting around there. A little bit lateral at the moment. Ringrose tries. He finds his way through there. Eventually gets pulled down. I'm all for trying to throw the ball around and trying to be a little bit thing, but just be a bit smarter there. They'll go back for the penalty, so they had the license to do that, but it's just a couple of 50-50 passes, which I think if they had maybe held on to that, Ireland might have been able to put it together a bit more of a structured attack, but a fantastic run by Ringrose. Absolutely nothing on. Now, no arms tackle there on Andrew Porter. That's from Anthony Gelange. So it's not a great tackle there. So now Billy Burns will be able to kick the ball into the French territory. But France will be back up to 15 men. Looks like Bernard Leroux will join us shortly. Now he is back on the field, so we can get rid of that yellow card. Very, very good game last weekend from Bernard Leroux. He was just everywhere. Made all his tackles. Him and Paul Willemse are turning into a really good lock combination. They've got physicality, they've got work rate, they've got everything you need. And won the line out. Need a little bit of creativity. The 50-50 pass. Very well done there by Keenan. Gibson Park's been well read by like a book there by Paul Willemse. And then they won the penalty. So that's brilliant by the French lock. Saw the ball was out. Really put a lot of pressure on Gibson Park. Couldn't get the ball away. And then Ireland desperate to try and keep it. Have been guilty of diving in. And France will win the penalty. So, yeah, I think all the small battles are suddenly being won by France. It was definitely Ireland's game for the first 25-26 minutes. But in the last sort of 10 minutes now, we're sort of seeing a bit of a shift in momentum. And that's the thing. When you start winning the small battles, that's when you can start really sort of asserting your authority on the game. Lots of applause from the coaching box. And as I said, France is playing some very good rugby at the moment. Jalabert finds a gap, but it's been ripped in the tackle by Henderson. And Ireland have turned it over. And the ball just won't come down. It's eventually picked up by Billy Burns, who's been held up, and it's been ripped again. What a pass. And again, Paul Willemse. Oh, sit down, Gibson Park, and he spilled it. Oh, come on. This is a bit of end-to-end at the moment. Two consecutive rips, a fantastic hit there by Paul Willemse, who then spills, and Ireland are right back on their try line. Gibson Park gives to James Lowe, who needs to find touch, and does find touch, but France will take it quickly. Julian just running out of ideas there. Peno was there to help out there, so France has retained possession. Now, this is important for France to look after possession. Can they look after possession? They need to be patient here. Ooh, a little bit of an inside pass here from Dupont. Now goes himself. Probably the wrong option, though. It looks like he might be held up. Tackle, they've got a release there. Okay, we have a scrum to France. Yeah, probably not the right option there from Dupont to go himself. But starting to get into the game, you can see he's a player with a lot of confidence at the moment. So it must be quite tiring just playing with Dupont and just knowing that as soon as you're anywhere near around, it doesn't matter if he's facing you or whatever the chat is, you might have the ball in your hands there. I mean, running there, measuring out the defense before a little quick sort of chickering out the back. Thankfully for them, Charles Olivon was away to that. But here we go. So 37 tackles made by Ireland, 82 tackles made by France, 7 tackles missed by each. So Irish defense probably guilty of slipping too many tackles there. To miss 7 out of 37 is not a great effort. Much better from France, who have made more than double the tackles and missed the same amount. And that's what's kept them in the game, really. Despite going down to 14 men, their defense has been very, very solid. We saw that fantastic effort by Bryce Julian, who managed to keep James low for the first try of the game with a very important tackle. We're going to resume with a French scrum just outside the 22. We've got 4 minutes to go until half time. So, yeah, a very good chance now for us to either win a penalty or to try and at least get themselves into a position to try and maybe score another try, something like that. But to be fair, I think if they were to go to half time, 7-3 up, having had a yellow card, I think they'll be very happy with that effort, to be honest. Good scrum there, solid scrum there by France. Eldred comes out in the back, carries it up. Oh, that's a very, very good hit there. Front row and front row. Yeah, and that's just poor. I think it's Ian Healy. He's just meandered his way through the back of the ruck, and they'll have a penalty. That's just poor by Ireland. And you see, that's the problem. With a couple of minutes to go to half time, just don't do that. It wasn't even rolling. He pretty much just stood up in the middle of the ruck and walked to the back and gave away a clear penalty. And suddenly, France can kick for goal, as they will. Jalabert will have a shot here and can go into half time with a 10-point advantage. So, yeah, I think just poor by Healy. A bit of a strange decision. But, you can look at the referee all you want, mate, but if you're going to stand up at the back of the ruck when Dupont's trying to get it out nice and quickly, you're always going to get penalised. So, can't really complain, but France have been very, very good. Weird enough, that yellow card was exactly what they needed, because as soon as Bernard Leroux headed off into the bin, suddenly France were alive. Ireland almost scored immediately, but after that, France really, really rallied. They've got themselves a lead. They can try and extend to a 7-point lead, and he does. No issues there from Jalabert. France move up to 10 with just 2 minutes to go. So all they'll want to do now is retain the kickoff and find touch and go into half time with a break. Another good take there from Aldred. He's been very, very good. I mean, I reckon he's carried the ball up at least about 10 times. We've got to look at some of the stats at half time. Bit of a stat attack. France is keeping their hands on the ball. Yeah, they just need to run down another 40 seconds. Get up to half time with the lead. France snipes. He's got support, so he'll retain that. Other forwards will just run this up. Just need to remain composed here, dude, France. See, they're not going to shape to kick until half time, so the only chance here for Ireland is to try and find a ruck where they can try and either counter-ruck it or try and get their hands over the ball and force a penalty. Just 15 seconds left here. It's very good exit play here from France. 2 more phases and they should be all right. And right as the clock hits the 40-minute mark, they find touch and they'll go into half-time with a break. Right, so 10.23, France do lead. A very, very good effort from this French side, who really rallied after Bernard Leroux got sent off for tripping Keith Earls. Ireland have had their moments, had a try ruled out. and have looked good at moments. I think the backlines look quite lethal when they've had the chance. Need more go forward ball there from them. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the half in the comments. Which player stood out for you? I thought Aldred was very good there. Anton Dupont growing into the game. Hugo Keenan's had a lot to do so far, as has Gibson Park. Let's put up some stats and see what is happening across the field. Got halftime is the score. During halftime, please do smash a like on the video. 4 likes to try and see if we can get up to 10 likes. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We have picked up a couple of subscribers over the first half, which is really cool. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the tournament, so please do show your support as we go and try and pull up some stats after the first half. Here we go, match stats. Right, so here we go. Possession-wise, 56 possession for Ireland, 44% for France. And that was a lot different early on in the half, with France really going back into the game. So by the end of it, quite even, but Ireland had the majority of the possession early on. Territory-wise, 46%, Ireland, 54%, France. Time in opposition, 22. They've both spent 2 minutes there, so nothing separating them, really. And points in visit to 22. That's the difference. That France has got 2 points per visit to the 22, whereas Ireland have got none. So no reward yet for the game to the 22. Here's open play. Possession kicked. Ireland 12, France 19. 4 handling areas apiece, so it hasn't been great handling from either side. Well, I don't think it's too bad, I suppose, over the entire half. There have been 3 knock-ons by France and 1 from Ireland. One breakdown steal, just the one breakdown steal there from France. In terms of the turnovers, 1 each, missed tackles. Ireland have missed 9 tackles. France have missed just 7, despite France attempting 93 tackles in that first half. Ireland have attempted 71. So tackle percentage, France sitting with a 92%, and that's how you win games. When you've got a tackle percentage of 92, you can win rugby games. You know, anything below that, 87, 86, 85. And you can often be guilty of just leaking points sometimes. So very good defensive effort so far from the French. All right, in terms of set pieces, both sides are 100% scrum success rate. Lineouts 1, Ireland won 7 lineouts to France's 6. In terms of discipline, we've obviously seen the yellow card to France. France have conceded 6 penalties to Ireland's 3. All pretty even there. In terms of individual stats here, let's try and bring some player stats. Let's see who's doing a lot here. Right, so in terms of meters made for Ireland, we've got James Lowe has made 20 meters. Hugo Keenan has made 60 meters across 4 carries. TJ Stander has made 6 carries and made 22 meters. Andrew Porter's also had 6 carries. For France, the big wall carry, as I said, was Greg Aldred. He's made 9 meters from his 5 carries. And in terms of defense, the big defensive efforts, and this is where you can just see from France, not one missed tackle from the entire forward pack of France. We have seen Paul Williamson make 9 tackles. Anthony Gelange has made 8 tackles. Charles Olivan has made 9 tackles. Bernard Leroux made 7 tackles despite spending 10 minutes off. For Ireland, the big tacklers were Rhys Ruddock has made 5 tackles. After that, Ian Henderson and Josh van der Flier with 4. CJ Stunner has also made 5 tackles. The sole turnover for Ireland was by Ian Henderson. For France, both Gavin Villiers and Gael Cower have both also won a turnover. In terms of discipline, by France guilty of conceding 2 penalties, but apart from that, I mean, there haven't been too many penalties conceded, to be honest. So it's been quite a nice game to watch, actually. In terms of not too many penalties at the moment. Also, not too many stoppages. I think we only had to stop the clock about 2 or 3 times, which is Always great. We had a big problem in South Africa during the Currie Cup, was just not enough rugby being played, really. But John, let me know what you thought of the game in the comments. I want to know what your full-time predictions are. Chuck them in the comments. Let's get that out now. I said, please do smash a like on the video. We are sitting on 4 likes. Let's try and see if we can get that up to 10. Get your predictions into the comments below there. About another 5 minutes, and I reckon we'll be back from half time. Still a very close game. Hopefully, we can have a similar finish to what we saw between Wales and Scotland, because that was fantastic to watch. Right, so let's actually have a look at the log and see what the log is currently looking like. So obviously, Wales are on top with 9 points. England second place with 6 points. France with 5 points. So a bonus point victory for them today would see them move to the top of the table. If they were to win, they've got a very good points difference. So they'll go up regardless, because Wales are sitting on a points difference of 6, whilst France have a points difference of 40. So if they win, that'll obviously only get better. For Ireland, just 1 point. So very important that if they want to try and challenge for the Six Nations, they get a win today, or else they could be 9 points off the lead after just the second round. So yeah, it's an important game really for Ireland. And that's the problem. The Six Nations is such a short tournament. So you're playing 5 games. So when if you lose the first 2, that's pretty much you out. But I do think we are going to see a much more competitive Six Nations. I think we're looking at that side, and Scotland are playing very well. England are very inconsistent. We can see different types of England, and I'm hoping we might see something from Italy. I mean, they've had 2 reasonably big losses, but you can see there's something there. That Franco Smith is trying to do something, trying to get something out of the Italian side. It's a very young side, backing all the youngsters. Da, 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 da. Monday tomorrow, we move into a new week. How depressing is that? At least we've had some good sport, a lot of sport over the weekend. There's some cricket, there's been some rugby, good football so far. Hopefully we've got a really, really good 40 minutes of Six Nations rugby ahead of us, because that'll just be the perfect way to end the weekend. In terms of next weekend's fixtures, let's see what we've got to look forward to. Right, round 3, we'll see Italy host Ireland. So this is what I'm saying. If Ireland can get a win today, and then move towards it, and then try and go get those 5 points against Italy, suddenly they're right back in it. But a loss today, and suddenly they're chasing shadows, because you've got France versus Scotland Sunday. Then you've got Wales versus England, which should be quite a good game. Wales have 2 scrappy wins, I think is the word. But never underestimate the ability to win ugly. Even if you're not playing well, to be able to get the points, to be able to get the result is actually very, very important. So, yeah. Morrison saying, amazing how defense in terms of numbers of tackles has put France in front for a very Springbok style. It's exactly that. And that's what Wales under Warren Gatton was so good at. Is just when you've got such a good defense and you're just not conceding points, suddenly when you can maybe just create something out of nothing and score a try, it's suddenly a very, very big ask for the opposition team, because suddenly you have to go and, you haven't been able to break their defense down anyway. And especially if you have to now score tries to win the game, you can't just rely on trying to win a few penalties. That's what I was saying. I mean, to have a 92% tackle success rate, that's how you win games. That's how you win tournaments. With just same as sort of football. Where you win games. The whole idea of you win games with your attack, but you win trophies with your defense. And it's very true. And speaking of defense, that sort of idea of the defense. I mean, you look at Italy. I think Italy on the attack look like a really promising side. They actually play some nice rugby. They're quite can sometimes be quite creative. Between Stephen Varney and Garbizzi, two very young players there, they look like there's potential there on the attack, but their defense just isn't good enough, and you can't afford to concede 40 points every week. You can't concede those amount of points. But if you are only conceding sort of 10 points most of your games, you can limit your opposition to like sort of 10 points every game. Suddenly, 4 penalties and you can win games. 1 try and like 2 penalties and you win games. It's a numbers game really. But for me, as I said, that having that strong defense, every team needs to be built on a good defense. You see in school rugby, where especially in the junior levels, the team that can defend the best win 9 times out of 10, because that's all it is. They're being able to just not concede points makes winning just so much easier. I'll chuck a link to our Discord in the chat. My idea is during these sort of watch-alongs to try and get a couple of people onto on a call, and we can chat to some fans during half time, and just try and sort of eat up these sort of 10 minutes and try and get other people's opinions. The whole idea of the channel is to be by the fans for the fans. So we want to try and see more fan interaction. So I want to throw the link to the Discord in the chat. Please do come join it. Very, very new. But we just want to try and grow and just try to get a bit of a community going. I'm gonna put it into the chat now. Our players coming back on, so we should have kicked off very, very soon. Right, so there is the link to our Discord. Please do come join it. We want to try and have people chatting at halftime here, get other people's opinions, find out who they're backing, find out what they picked up on the half. Because at the end of the day, we want to try and start a nice organic conversation and just chat about rugby, So, it'd be really, really cool to have some more sort of fan chats during halftime, before the game, even after the game. No fans in the stadium, so we can't go out and get people's opinions and firsthand. So let's try and see if we can get this digital world going. Right, and we have kickoff. Where's my scoreboard? Right, good take there from CJ Stander. And the game is back under the way. So here we go. 40 minutes. Can France beat Ireland, or can Ireland, with a couple of injuries, make a statement, get themselves back into Six Nation contention? Let me know what you think in the comments. Gregory Aldred is a mate. Yeah, he's been fantastic. Very safe under the high ball. He's been carrying the ball a lot for France. Been pretty much their primary ball carrier. And made the most carries by any French player in that first half. So he's been very, very solid. There's so many good players. Oh, France are straight through here. Are they going to score first up? Oh, my poor villains are off their head. That is I mean, come on, man. He's Afrikaans. If you had to pick one head and you picked that one, I mean, that ball landed in the next country. Commentators apologizing for bad language, mate. You had all the reason to. I mean, what a run this is. Marauding run there by Julien Marchand. And I mean, a fantastic tackle to bring him down in the end. But then, just trying to speed it up, and Dupont has just smashed it straight into the face. Yeah, Shane. Look, not Paul Williams' fault. He just got a ball to the front of his face, so he's had better starts to a half, I'm sure. Not the best moment from Antoine Dupont, and that should have been France too. 15-3, to be honest. If that ball had gone to hand, I'm not quite sure why he was trying to go so wide. I mean, you've got Paul Williams running at speed, put the ball in his hand and get him over. Looks like we have an early change. Billy Burns is off for an HIA. So Ross Byrne has come on, pretty much their third choice fly half here. Jonathan Sexton busy running the water today. Such a frustrating player. The fact that, we all know that. Former World Player of the Year. A brilliant player, but just can't stay fit at the moment. Carson Dunjit saying set piece, when it works, it sets the French up. Oh, yeah. And that was. Set pieces are just such an important part of the game. Ireland almost scored off the set piece in the first half. That's another brilliant. He's lost it forward, has Gregory Aldred. But there's another big run from him. And turnover, yeah, by Ireland. I thought it was a knock on. Didn't seem to be playing advantage there, though. Okay, we've got a clash of heads here, so we've stopped the timing. They're going to go back and check. The way the referee's whistle's going, it sounds like it was really bad, but it doesn't look too bad. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, no. Healy on Henderson, both going for them, and they've just completely run into each other. Got a gash on their head of Cian Healy here. Doesn't look great for either of them. We saw a horrible injury yesterday to Willis from England. Nobody at fault there. Just both going for the same man as they're coming around, just smashing heads with a lot of blood on the thing. Both players' heads can cut open. I'm sure. They must both go be awful at HIA. They won't continue after that, surely. Quite probably else. There's a lot of blood on the field. They're going to go off and get mopped up here. So after literally just losing Billy Burns, I'm going to have another two players in the HIA bin. A lot of injuries so far in the Six Nations. You don't like to see it. But we have had quite a few injuries so far. Ireland are really looking quite depleted. We also had a lot of HIAs last weekend. The good news is walking off here, but it'll be a while before we get more players. So we're going to have two more players on here for Ireland. Ian Healy is off. Right, so Ed Byrne is on. It's his fourth game for Ireland. He replaces Ian Healy, who heads down the tunnel with a towel on his head. And Ian Henderson, Ireland's captain for the day, he also looks off. He looks a bit more groggy, to be honest. Doesn't look too good for him. Hopefully nothing too serious. But Delan is on. Gary Ringrose now the captain for Ireland. Time on, I think. So I assume we're going to restart with an Ireland scrum. They did have possession at the time, and I thought there was a knock on there from Gregory Aldred. Will be an Ireland scrum here. So not a good start yet from Ireland. They've lost 3 players to HIAs in the opening 2 minutes. First scrum here from Ed Byrne. It's a solid scrum. That's much better from Ireland. Looks like they had a bit of dominance, but they do go into the back line. Ringrose, the captain now. That's a poor I mean, what was that? James Lowe claiming that it was knocked forward, hoping for the scrum, not the line out. France will be given the option though, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. Decent run here by Ringrose. So James Lowe asking if it came off the French. I don't think it did. Bit of a 50-50 pass there from Ringrose. Probably didn't need to throw it. He had used up most of the space. Probably would have been better just to have taken contact and try and recycle it. Ringrose versus Arthur Vincent was touted to be quite a big battle. We haven't seen too much of them. We've seen a little bit of Ringrose and not too much of Arthur Vincent. A very nice player, that is. Another scrum here for France. Looked a bit more solid there. Yeah, go flick out. Dylan's coming around the corner there. Kicked around there. Is that going to sit up? That's going to go too far. James Lowe tracks it well. And he puts that down touch. So Ireland will start with a 22 meters. So a bit wasteful there from France. You can see the idea of trying to pin them back, but just went straight down the middle. All right, and they kick it up to the halfway line. Good take there from Geelong. Much better from France here. They're going through a couple of phases here. Now they're going with white. They've got some space. Good offload. No, he's knocked it on. Oh, Geelong has been so good the entire game. He had taken that. Another man on the outside. That could have been then through, but just a very poor knock on. Very uncharacteristic from the fullback. And Dupont there. Nice little inside ball to Gregory Aldred. He pops it up. That's what France have been doing very well. Getting through the contact and then just shifting the ball. And yeah, I mean, Arthur Vincent, I think, looking for... I don't think he was actually trying to find Geelong. I think he was trying to find Villiers, but... Yeah, it's not quite clinical enough there from France. So we will have another scrum here. But Messi first opening 5 minutes. Reset here. I hate a reset scrum. Thankfully, I haven't seen too many of them. It's so nice. I'm coming from the Southern Hemisphere to just see Northern Hemisphere scrummaging. You know, just no resets, nice and solid. Very few penalties. I mean, down in South Africa at the moment, it's just every single scrum is a penalty. So many resets, losing so much of the game due to just too many resets. But it's always refreshing watching Northern Hemisphere rugby and just watching some solid scrummaging. Goes down. Not illegally so. Henshaw straightens up. He even finds a little bit of space. Gibson Park now. He puts it up in the air. Keith Earls is chasing. Not the best effort there by Valier, but France do eventually claim it. Almost looked a little bit offside there by Ireland. They pin back France inside their own half. The ball's popped out. And that is Dupont. That's the problem, you know. He's just throwing that straight into CJ Stunner's hands. Now, can Ireland counter? He runs off to the side. A bit of a 50-50 pass, but they keep it in. That Burn will take it in. It's exactly what they need to do. Just hit Barak here. Being a bit messy at the moment. Burn the substitute now. Not finding too many meters here. Oh, it's good handling there. It was a nice idea. It wasn't too anyone. CJ Stunner now will just run it up. Landed by Bernard Leroux. So yeah, just not being able to find a way forward here. Ringrose, there we go. He finds a bit of space. Thunder once again. I mean, such a big physical ball carrier. He'll always take 1 or 2 players to bring him down. Right, Ireland work their way up to the halfway line, but so far the French defense standing very, very firm. Ireland are kicked to the back. Is it going to be favoured? That's a very, very good kick there from James Lowe. Saw a little bit of space, kicked over the top. The bounce favoured him, and he finds touch inside the French 22. So much better from Ireland, who, I think, just struggling to find a bit of go forward ball, trying to get past the advantage line with ball in possession. It is credited to the French defence, which has been immense. There from France. Not really making too much progress. The ball hasn't really worked for France, but much better for Ireland. There's a penalty for France. They will be able to try and exit out. That's not a good touch finder, yeah. So James Lowe will be able to keep it alive. He kicks it down the field towards the right-hand side. It won't be inside the 22. Ulan will kick it behind there. So I reckon we're going to see a bit of a kicking battle at the moment. And the substitute there, Ross Byrne, he does find touch on about the halfway line. A bit of a messy first 10 minutes at the moment. France almost scored very early on, where Anton Dupont decided to launch the ball into Paul Williams' head. Yeah, and Ireland once again having to kick. Oh, that's a very. Oh, can he get it away? Yeah, I think Ireland just battling to sort of find their way past the French defence, and as a result, just kind of sort of kicking in behind, hoping to try and benefit from the set piece. But yeah, France is now and it's gone too far, and that will down for 22-meter. Yeah, I think Ireland just really struggling to get past the French defence, which has been immense all game, and as a result, are just trying to target the set piece, trying to kick in behind, trying to play a bit of a territory game. Maybe work themselves way into the half through that. They just can't get past the French defence, which has been immense all game. Very good restart. It's a good chase there from James Lowe, and Ireland have actually retained it. Gibson Park now kicks him behind. Dalibert is backtracking. He'll return the field. Well, no, he actually keeps it alive. He looks to run. Oh, it's a massive hit on him there. That was from Andrew Porter. A huge hit on the fly half. Now DuPont goes up. Good take there from low, but it's a very good chase there as well. Damien Pinal hasn't had much to do. Once again, you see, and this is the problem. The French defense is up quickly, and Ireland just can't make any momentum. They've got some space out wide, Jeff, if they use it. You see, once again, this is actually, I'll take it all back. Well, it's very well done by Keith Earls, but I think Ireland just taking up too much space. And then it's been knocked on there by Gibson Park. There we go. Now DuPont, he chips over the top. Oh, and he's dropped to James Lowe. Oh, he's got it. Valier's got it, and he's, oh my, it's all happening. It's all happening. It ends up in touch. But DuPont chipping over the top. James Lowe having to make a lot of ground towards the other side there. He drops it. Valier then picks it up. And in being dragged towards touch, throws it inside. What I was saying earlier is that whenever the ball has gone wide, you've seen the Irish players all sort of drifting and kind of running into the space, as opposed to just straightening and pass, straight up pass. Which is why they've often sort of gone towards the side and then they've just ran out of space because they're not enough players are straightening. A bit of break and play here. Huh? Right, Andrew Porter is off. But that's Tadek Furlong. Two new props on here for Ireland, yep. Both starting props are off. Ian Healy went off for an HIA. I don't think we'll see him again. Another scrum here. Scrums have been very, very even, to be honest. Much better. But see, this is the difference at the moment. France, whenever they've had the opportunity, have got themselves in the front foot here. And Bernard Leroux, I mean, they're up to inside the 22. Now, France have to be a bit patient here. That's a big hit there by Rob Herring. I think France got an advantage. Oh, that's a great take by Gillon. Can he do all the way? He's got a man out front, and that is brilliant by France. Absolutely brilliant. It all looked like a kind of part. They kind of lost a little bit of momentum. They switched the sides there, and Dillon had so much to do. Squared him up, got around the outside, and he knew he didn't have the pace to do it, and had the awareness to give it off to Damien Pinal, who hasn't, as I said, hasn't had much to do all day. Look, credit to Fikau. I mean, he was massive in the build-up. Not much on. There's a bit of a change in ball here. James Lowe comes flying up to try and make the cut-out tackle. Doesn't make it. And Dillon does brilliantly. He realizes he doesn't have the pace. Had been out outside him, and he goes over very easily. And France up to 15 points, and that is a big moment in the game. Game suddenly slipping away from Ireland because France just looks so much more likely to score points when they're in the danger area. And that's not the best kick there. That'll go wide. The kicking hasn't been great today. It was very, I mean, look, that is as hard as it gets. You know, as a right-footed kicker, kicking right to left on the touchline. But yeah, I mean, James Lowe at fault there. He rushes off his line. You've got to make the tackle, because if you don't, it's try time. So suddenly a very big ask from Ireland who just don't look like they can get past the French defence. And I think if France wins this, look, it's been some really good ingenuity and some fantastic follow up there from Keith Earl. He's won a penalty off the kickoff. That's the way how you get back into the game. But it's just been the French defence. Their defence has just been too good. Fantastic chase up there by Keith Earl. Then he's played in the air. It's just the correct decision. That's what we need from Ireland. A little bit more hunger. They've really struggled to get past the advantage line. Sometimes just looked a little bit out of ideas, and they've got a penalty, so they were able to kick to the corner here. And the rolling maul has worked, to be fair, so this could be the perfect time to try and set up a rolling maul. Right, Ross Burns finds touch on about 22 meters. So, can Ireland set up a maul and get over? Last time they had a line out in a similar position, James Lowe almost went over before a brilliant tackle from Dulan kept him out. Oh, hello. And he's through. That was just bizarre. He's just come on the field, has Ron Kelleher, and he's over, and Ireland are back in this. It was a terrible line-out. Completely made a hash of the line-out. Popped out for Kelleher, who suddenly had nobody in front of him, and he runs in straight with no issues. Ireland back in it. I mean, it comes up, bounces the ball, favors and gets past to Dupont, and suddenly Kelleher looks up, and he's got nobody in front of him. The bounce of the rugby ball, ladies and gentlemen. That is the bounce of the rugby ball there. Completely took Dupont out the game. Bounce favor for Kelleher, and he runs straight over, and suddenly Ireland are back in it. Right, so TMO at the moment is having a look at this. I think they're looking to see if this doesn't come off an Irish hand, if it might not be a knock-on. They've had a look. The try will stand. So, brilliant moment there from Ireland, and that's something you just need. There's sometimes a bit of bit of luck. Bit of luck can get you a long way in these games. Ian Henson is back on the pitch as well. The Irish captain for the day is back on. Ross Byrne will have his first kick of the match, 28 meters on the angle. Very, very nice kick. That's what you need as well from your goal kicker. Right, so Ireland 10, France 15. Game alive as we enter to the last 22 minutes. Got to change the hooker here at France. Fine, they changed their decision. Very good take there by stand under a lot of pressure. France very quick up to the mark. Gibson Park will try and clear this as far as he can. Goes up. And there's a very good touch finder. That's what you need. Very good exit plan. And I mean, a good exit play makes a big difference because when you're under a lot of pressure, you just scored the points, you've got yourself a bit of the game, momentum might be swinging a little bit. A good exit play just sort of keeps that momentum with you. You make a hash of the kickoff and suddenly you're back under pressure and suddenly you can undo all the good work you've just done. But France win the line out. And Aldred, who's carried the ball up immensely all day, he makes progress as well. Oh, got some Ireland hands all over that ball there. And Ireland have turned it over. Brilliant work there from Ireland. Now Ringrose just decides to hack it in front. And that's gone. It stays in, actually. Julian puts it up. Oh, and that's amazing. That's a terrible effort by Gibson Park. The ball's been hacked forward. The chase is on here. The chase is on here. And James Lowe wins it. Dupont right on the end. He gets over and he dots it down in his own in-goal area. And very, very messy there. A brilliant turnover there from Ireland. It looked like it was, I think, Tad Byrne, and a terrible effort by Gibson Park. Really hacked the ball ahead. James Lowe coming back. Dupont was right on his shoulder. But James Lowe does win the race in the end. And it will be a 22-metre dropout for Ireland. You just kind of need to get back into the French half. That's a very good take. Uncontested. Keith Earls is in there. And suddenly Ireland won back possession on the halfway line. This is where we talk about momentum. Ireland just seem to be doing more good than they were earlier. Ian Henderson back on the field. He carries it up. Once again, the French defence ensuring that Ireland actually lose meters as opposed to gain meters. Now Keenan now held up by France. The defence has been immense. Got some players outside here. Ringrose decides to straighten. He's wrapped up. Pushed back. So, I mean, from the halfway line to behind that 10-metre line, that just speaks volumes about the French defence today. It has been immense. Gibson Park goes up, but it's a very, very good take there. France win possession back. Under a lot of pressure at the ruck from Ireland. A couple of players coming through, but they do manage to keep possession. Hoisted. James Lowe takes it well. He spins out of the tackle, spins into his own player, though. He chips ahead, sees that there's nobody home for France, but that's going to go all the way. That's just poor from James Lowe, to be honest. You can see the idea, but you can see the type of kick was always ran the risk of going too far, and that's exactly what it did. This is where you just need to be accurate here. You know, with 18 minutes to go, you've got 5 points to try and make up. Can't afford to make those small errors. France goes deep into Ireland territory. CJ Stunner, the man under the ball, he's been very, very solid today. Him and Greg Aldred have really had a really good battle. They've been carrying the ball up solidly, been very safe under the high ball. There we go, a little bit better from Ireland, but Ringrose going very wide, eating into the space, and therefore have to cut in. And that's been the problem. They're sometimes just running into each other's space at the moment. Product, there we go. Much more direct. He gets over the advantage line. That's better from Ireland. Good go forward ball there from Byrne. Goes himself. He's up to the France 22, but there's no support. I think Ireland have won the penalty. Yes, they have. So that's much better from Ireland. This is the thing. When you're not running into each other's space, you're trying to be a bit more direct, trying to take the ball on the front foot. Momentum swings with you. They've got a penalty here. It's very kickable. I reckon they'll probably go to the corner. They're going to have a shot at goal here. Okay, so the call is to go for post, yeah. Very nice first kick first up from Byrne. Right, so as we wait for the kick, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Any last minute prediction, 17 minutes to go. Who is going to edges? It's been a fantastic clash so far. Very, very close between the two sides. So, can France move to top of the log? Or will Ireland snatch it towards the end and get themselves back into contention for the tournament? And that's a very good kick there from Byrne. And there we go. Ireland hit back. That's 13 unanswered points. Sorry, 10 unanswered points. Right, 13-15. 15 minutes to go. Game on at the Aviva Stadium. A very good take there from Ireland. You just feel like the momentum shifted towards Ireland at the moment. France have defended well. It needs something to happen from an attack point of view. That's a very good take there from Dulon. He gets pulled into touch, or does he manage to get the ball in? He does, but Ireland have one possession. There's space there from Ireland. Somebody needs to straighten. It was an early ball. Probably wasn't the right ball there from Keith Earls. James Lowe gets outside his man, but they're right back, so he kicks ahead. That's going to go straight into touch. That's another terrible decision from James Lowe. He really hasn't had the best of games today, to be honest. Right, so time off here, and France will start with the scrum back where James Lowe kicked it. He just hasn't been good, to be honest. Just not clinical enough. Couple of kicks have gone too far. He spilt a ball early on, which almost put his team under a lot of pressure. There we go. Teddy Thomas is on. Very big physical wing there. Well, hang on. The France Ireland to turn that over. They almost did, but France eventually win the ball back. France, be patient here, just above the 22 meters. There we go, Picard. There we go. Celebrate on the outside. Teddy Thomas drops his first contribution. It's forward. It has gone forward, so it will be an Irish scrum. But that's what I was talking about. France have just looked so much more. They just look better on the attack, to be honest. There always just seems to be a bit of space there, a bit of change direction there. Very nice pass out there. And if this had gone to hand, Gibson Parker committed inside, and James Lowe's going to be one-on-one with Timmy Totter. Come on, sorry. Pass just slightly behind. Does take his eye off the ball as well. Very cognizant of the fact that James Lowe is there. So we'll have a scrum here. Yeah, I was running now. I've just seen it. They won. Too much to ask for the South African cricket team to win a series, but hey, I'm just going to focus on what's hopefully a decent game here. Last 12 minutes. Decent scrum there from Ireland. Henshaw gets up to 22 meters. James Lowe asked to kick. He'll keep that alive. Dylan very well chased by Dylan, but now Teddy Thomas has to clean up, and he does. Support arriving eventually, but a lot of Irish players there. And if France managed to keep this, it's a brilliant job. But They haven't. Oh, Ireland to turn this over. Much better from the Irish. They look very up for it all of a sudden. That's a big clean up there by Paul Willemse. Physicality really starting to show now. And once again, another turnover from France. Right, now the Irish defence is a bit nowhere. There's space out wide if they can use it. Pickout. Dabs it behind. Is it going to run into touch? James Lowe's back. He's under a lot of pressure, though. I don't think he's kicked that out either. He is. That's a very good kick from James Lowe. Under a lot of pressure. Got across. And he's given Ireland that's a big boost from there. He's kicked it right back up to France territory, and they'll have to start again. All becoming a little bit sloppy towards the latter stages, as games do tend to do. Last 11 minutes here. Both teams still very much in the contest. I mean, literally going to be a case of whoever scores next will win. Right, time on here. So France will start again and have to try and get their way back into Irish territory. Dupont puts in a big kick. The reply is into touch. So, but good result there from France. They've gained about 20 meters just from the kick there. And as vain as this has been from Ireland, you kind of get the feeling that if France score next, I don't think Ireland will be able to do it again. They've done very well to get themselves within 2 points. Turned the momentum well, got themselves back into it. Now it comes to which team has the BMT. Going to go straight down, so no possibility of the more there from France. And there's a penalty. There is a penalty. Taking the man out in the air is the call. Big let up. Now, decision time here. Will be a difficult kick, and the hasn't kicked particularly well. Given the fact that there's 10 minutes left, one imagines they'll kick towards the corner. Trying to eat up some time. They will be going for post. So not an easy kick. Suppose you can run down 2 minutes of the clock. Means you will be receiving possession. If you do miss it, you will be receiving possession probably in your sort of own half, supposed to deep inside 22. There'll be a 10 meters inside from the left. Delabert had a kick from a similar position earlier on in the game and he missed it. This is an important moment. Gets this kick and suddenly Ireland have to score a try, which they just haven't really looked like doing apart from the really lucky bounce of the ball. Much better strike from Jalabert. And it comes off the post. So Ireland have won the ball back. It's a big miss there from the French fly half. Ireland's still in the game. They need to get into the French territory and either win a penalty or score a try, but they can definitely still win this. What a contest this has been. Alright, the French ball. Ireland have found touch here. So, good result there for France, who will have an opportunity to run the clock down a little bit. All comes down to game management. It was a very good kick. And it just hooked it slightly and came on. It was a smack bang in the middle of the pole. So he's kept Ireland in this. The coaching staff can't believe it. And that's a big thing for an international fly half, because if that's a World Cup semi-final, that's a World Cup final, and that can change a game. You know, you get that penalty, you make it 18-13, and you say to Ireland, right, you haven't really broken us down the entire game, go and try and score a try. Now all Ireland have to do is get into the half and win a penalty. Fine margins. There you go, Dupont. Got the ball. He shrugs off Gibson Park. He's still going. Surely not. And he gets the offload again. Bernard Leroux has kept that alive. They're right against the touchline, but France are inside the 22. They're 10 meters out. They're going out wide. Arthur Vincent cuts inside. And that's been turned over by Ireland, but then lost forward, I think. And returned over again by France. Okay, knock on by Ireland. So France will have a scrum. A very good result. Much better from France. And very good by Dupont. He managed to square up Gibson Park, gets outside him, and then still has the presence of mind. Shrugs off one, shrugs off two. He's still going. Cuts inside. Within two players, still gets the offload to Bernard Leroux, who's better placed. I mean, that's just brilliant by Dupont. To keep that ball alive is sensational. Let me get my clock working again. Right, so a big moment here for France. They've got a scrum on the 22, or inside the 22, about 10 meters away from the try line. It's a very difficult position for Ireland, and the way that the France backline has been looking today, this is a big moment to try to score a try and win the game. 6 minutes left on the clock. You do feel, yeah, if France score the try here, it is game over for Ireland. Solid scrum. Ireland starting to come through, though. Second shove there. It's available for Dupont. Gibson Park catches Dupont in possession, so it's not the cleanest ball. They have retained it. It's popped out the back, and that's a knock on there by France, I believe. It is. So a massive defense there from Ireland, and sloppy from France, and they've given themselves a chance. A long way to go for Ireland to get into the other half with 5 minutes to go, but they've given themselves a chance. That is the main thing. Dupont just caught in possession there. It was very, very good work off those scrum by Will Connors. Nail-biting stuff. This is another very good clash that we've seen. We saw a really, really close clash yesterday between Scotland and Wales, and this is going to be another one which is going to come down right to the wire. Clock is off. France are making a couple of substitutions. So, yeah, please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the championship, so any support would be really, really greatly appreciated. There we go. Less than 5 minutes on the clock. I only need to get up to the French half and score. A reset will not help the Irish. France just need to keep Ireland in their half as much as they can. Right, here we go. What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to take this, France or Ireland? Not the most stable of scrums. The feed does come in. Right, Gibson Park being told to use it. They go down the blind side. James Lowe shapes to kick this. He'll kick this upfield and try and win some possession. Win some territory, rather. Julian wins it. He goes up and under. Good take there by Gibson Park. He retains possession for Ireland. They're still on their own half, though. Long way to go for them. And look for shape of the kick. They're going to have to kick. The territory-wise, they're going to have to get into France half. It's not going to be helped by that sort of kick. Very, very good take there by Teddy Thomas, who gets up ahead of everyone, despite his legs being taken on, holds onto the ball, and France have got possession back with 4 minutes to go. Right, DuPont now going to put a ball high in the air. Big chase. Lots of chases here. He goes up. That looks like it's going to... That's the perfect kick. Just outside 22. Gibson Park keeps it alive. James Lowe's going to come down the blind side here. And he's followed up with Gibson Park. He needs support. And he has been pulled out, I think. Yeah, he has been pulled out. So Ireland up to the halfway line. Some very good interplay there between Gibson Park and James Lowe. But unfortunately, the Irish scrum half just not able to stay in field. It was brilliant from Gibson Park. A really good take. Being driven to the touchline. Has the presence of mind. Chucks it inside James Lowe. He's got a lot of space. And then Gibson Park does very well to follow up with them. Holds the ball. Unfortunately, just no support. Runs into the man and can't stay in. But a very, very good work there from the scrum half. But unfortunately, I think... Oh, we've got a bit of a stoppage in time here. It's actually 77:55. France, I mean, they've got 2 minutes here. I mean, they can set up more here. They're going to try and make sure this takes as long as possible. Draining for the Irish. You need to get their hands on the ball, but very, very good management here from France. Still going forward here. They don't have to use it. Dupont shaped to kick. Now he's got himself. He's isolated, though. He's isolated. He needs support. Support does come. Fikar picks up and drives. Got France committing pretty much the entire pack to that breakdown. Here we go. Dupont puts it up. Another pinpoint kick just outside the 22. Penalty Ireland for, I think it's pushed them in the back. So, a last chance here for Ireland. They can kick their way into the French territory and try and create something. Just over a minute left to play. Is it too much? Too late for Ireland? They find touch just inside the half. A long way to go. But so I think the best solution, I mean, here, Ireland are going to want to try and just get into a kickable position and try and win a penalty. I do not see them scoring a try here, to be honest. The French defense has just been too good. Henshaw gets up to about the 10 meter. A bit of space. Another, you see, and they've been driven back already. This is the problem with Ireland. They just can't find... They can't get themselves over the advantage line. Good pop there. They get themselves back to the 10 meter. Ten seconds left. Ireland can't afford to play any 50-50 passes. They have to remain patient here. Try and find a penalty. French defense has been immense all game. And it's holding up firm again here today. They go towards the blind side. It's kept in though. And there it is. We are in 80 minutes. Can't afford any mistakes here, can Ireland? There's space on the outside. Ringrose gets up to the 10 meter, but they still can't get past that mark. Ringrose now. It was Henshaw earlier. 10 phases from Ireland, but just not making any territory at the moment. So far, very good from France. The defense is immense. 14 phases, and yet they've been driven back to almost the halfway line. And that's another massive hit. This French defense is unbelievable. Ringrose, now they're back into their own half. He gets back to the halfway line. I mean, this defense is just unbelievable. He's got the ball. I think France has turned this over. They've turned it over. That's it. France will take the win. That is sensational. A brilliant defensive effort. And France go to the top of the Six Nations. What a performance by the French. That is a defensive masterclass. Absolutely brilliant by France. They take the win 15 points to 13. A really close game. And a good effort by Ireland, but they just can't do anything against the resolute French defense. And Sean Edwards, the defensive coach, can take a lot of credit for that victory. What a game of rugby there. I mean, it looked like Ireland were trying to get back. France had their chance to try and put the game to bed. They gifted Ireland a chance to get back into it, but then the defense was just too good. That is it for us. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be back next weekend live for the Six Nations. We will also be having match reviews. We'll be doing Team of the Week and all that over the next few days. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that you are part of all that. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.